r/AskReddit, what is the saddest thing you have found at a thrift store? And GT, so many adult diapers. That means they're dead. Nuh-uh. It means they got better. And GT, so many adult diapers. That means they're dead. Could also be dead stock. I see a lot of that at our local Goodwills. One of them had 2 giant boxes of paper straws one time I was in there. Just means they finally got potty trained. Celebrate their success. Bought a nice carving knife and the handle had a last name on it. The worker said it was donated by the last living member of said family who did not have children. It was an heirloom. I have my dad's grandfather's apprenticeship candlesticks. The side with children don't want them. They are going to end up being donated, but hopefully they can give pleasure to some other family for a long time. I keep finding copies of this one self-published book signed by the author with the recipients' names in them. What book? I'm just being nosy. The library I volunteer at has received dozens of copies of 2 Cents for American by former presidential candidate Perry Johnson. We can't sell them ourselves, because they are uncorrected proofs. These were sent gratis to people who donated to the Iowa Republican Party. I worked at one for a short time. A woman would come in several times a week, always buying a few kids' toys at a time. I asked her about who she was buying for, and she explained they were to leave on her toddler daughter's grave. She'd been doing it for more years than the child had lived. Sad. I wonder what she did with each old batch of toys after she dropped off a new batch. A faded picture of 2 very happy dogs, still inside the picture frame. I bought it because I liked the paw print frame. When I took the picture out, there was an elderly person's cursive note that read, "My best friends." I kept the picture inside behind my own best friend's picture. This is one of the saddest things I've ever read. When frames/albums still have pictures in. Sad that no one cares, or maybe exists, to keep them and remember. That sort of feels like selling someone's ghost. 40 of the same t-shirts in brand new condition that said Donna's 91st birthday bash. I don't think Donna hung around long enough to attend, sad face. I want to hope that Donna did in fact survive, but had a wicked sense of humor and had extra shirts printed for the gag, and she delivered them personally. An urn filled with someone's ashes. Darn, the person that put the urn on the shelves really didn't care. Hopefully the person was shitty. Cookbooks with personal messages. They were a gift and they just discarded it. I even had pictures and letters tucked in the pages. I bought a couple of used books that had personal messages. One of them was a copy of Angelina Ballerina that was given to a little girl on her first birthday. Why would you give that away? I get you can't keep everything, but a nice note from your auntie on your first birthday? This is the one that triggered the tears. "Me babies are my best friends too. I think it's beautiful that you kept their memory tucked behind your own." Not a thrift store but a free library. There was a picture of the original owner of the book, with a description of his life and a note to say he loved to share things, and he'd want to share this book. It was during the first serious lockdown for COVID, so it hit me hard. I also loved the book. Somebody's ashes in a beautiful mahogany box. This is so wrong. Did you keep the ashes or did you disperse them? I think he'll have a note put in mine to scatter me somewhere nice in case this happens to me. We lost a very dear, old, friend when I was around 19, friend of the family, like second grandparents to me. His wife passed away shortly thereafter. A few years after both their deaths, I found a piece of furniture he made for her in a thrift store. He wrote a sweet note on the back with their specific names. Did you buy it? I found a beautiful ornate box that after examining it closer saw it contained a pet named Marvin's ashes. Not to be weird, but there are people out there who happily adopt abandoned pet ashes. I saw it numerous times on my oddities groups on FB. It's both odd and sweet. Little baby handprints. Link. One of these mugs, still intact. Did you smash it for them? At least their suffering is over. As an artist, it's the paintings with messages to loved ones on the back for me. Stuff only gets there for 2 reasons: its owner passed away or it was just unwanted, so it's sad either way. Cancer survivor here who went through a really hard chemo. I got a ton of stuff like this, and though I was incredibly grateful for people thinking of me and caring, I gave away a lot, if not all, of it. I just want to do stuff like drink coffee or tea and not have it yell, "Hey, you had cancer." Trust me, I never forget, haha. A blazer for my Legion uniform. Found in an interior pocket was a stack of funeral cards of deceased members the former member attended. My pal volunteers for a charity shop, and the worst thing I ever heard he found was how the other volunteers would take all the decent items for themselves, to either keep or sell privately, literally stealing from a charity and people in need. That happens more often than you realize. If you go to flea markets, generally a lot of people who work for Goodwill etc. get first dibs and turn around and sell these items in their flea market space. If you're good at it, like my ex-girlfriend was, she made pretty good money each month. For me, it's the very niche professional achievements that are totally worthless outside of anyone who isn't in that profession. So logbooks, technical drawings, etc. If you know what they are, you know their value, but outside of a small subset of humanity, it means nothing. Not at a thrift store, but a grocery store. When people would return unopened dog or cat food, you knew their pet had died. If it makes you feel any better, I have returned food because my cat is such a sensitive eater that she pukes constantly if it's not this one specific bag of food. Except it took a while to figure it out, so I had to return some bags a few times. She's still purring it up next to me though. A large coffee mug with a picture, from some shitty mall kiosk, of two ugly kids surrounded by a heart and at the bottom it read, "We love you great grandma." I see a lot of obviously dead people's clothing, but a mug that was so personal was sort of heartbreaking. So I bought it for $1 and it holds so much coffee. A very costly wedding dress. To the Teresa who made a pair of owl bookends in 1979 and gave them as a gift for Christmas, I saved them. Just to show a side you might not have considered, I donated my wedding dress to a St. Vincent de Paul thrift shop because it's beautiful and I knew I'd never wear it again. I wanted someone else who possibly couldn't afford to pay retail, it was about $1,500 USD, to find it and love it. I checked a week after donating and didn't see it and asked a girl I know that works there and she said they sold it to a sweet young bride-to-be for $70 and she was very happy. WW2 medals, in a basket of assorted WW2 medals. They clearly received too many for them to be special and just dropped them in the basket whenever they got more. They should be given to a VFW or something for possible historical purposes. A very nice, large, complicated, multiple cables and baubles, hand-knit blanket/bedspread. I know how complicated that pattern is, even in cheap yarn it's a lot of $$ for the yarn, not counting the time it took for whoever to knit it. I was not leaving without that blanket. It was a beast to hand wash, but it is now displayed on the back of our visitor's couch. When I die, it'll probably go to a resale/thrift shop, along with most of my other knitted accessories and sweaters. Family Bible of a local deacon listed with births of the family starting in the 1940s. And tons of funeral announcements for the people who was listed being born in the book earlier up until all the listed ones were dead. Last one a few years before I found it. Tried to find family, and whether the church he was a member in wanted it. They didn't remember him and he had only died like a year before. Arts and crafts made by kids. I know because it has the child's name on it. I found a coffee cup from my burnt down business. Framed family photos or diplomas. I found an old Adidas sports jacket that's at least 10-ish years old. Before washing it I found a heart-shaped leather craft sewed onto the inner layer of the jacket. Could have been his partner. I bought a used book and inside the cover was a handwritten message from the author gifting that copy to her friend, and the author's obituary cut out from a local newspaper. I bought the book for $5. There was also an insane coincidence that my uncle owned a copy of the exact same book that he'd bought as a kid. It's one of the few things he still owns from his childhood. I had no idea until I mentioned it to my aunt. I used to work for thrift stores. I sorted brought-in items and made them ready to be sold in the stores. Here are two of the saddest/dark things I found. One, the diary of a child that described the parents divorcing, the mother getting another boyfriend that was abusive towards the kid when the mother wasn't around. The mom not believing the child when they told her what he did. 2, a suicide note. Both things were thrown away. A book written in the 1900s about the horrors visited upon novices and young nuns. I found an urn with ashes in it. I'm still horrified. Found some soap. Someone donated bars of soap. So many adult diapers. That means they're dead. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1,000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again, Reddit glitch out.